You know, I am so tired of dealing with nothing but back-to-back crazies and stupids. It gets very, very wearying. It would be nice for once to just talk to a normal. Not a normie, mind. God no. Those disgusting Facebook-dwelling freak creatures and their real jobs and friends they've actually met. No, I mean someone nice who doesn't immediately scream at me about all the evils of the world and dresses in a way that you wouldn't be embarrassed to be seen with in public. Not that I'm ever in public, mind, but you know what I mean.
Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Gertson. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and an author.
Oh my god, could it be? She sounds so reasonable. At last, I'm not the unstrangest one in the room. Yes, unstrangest is a word. It means least not unstrangerist. Duh!
At Empowered Sustenance, I share a head start for your healing journey so you can discover the best version of yourself.
I mean, it's still obviously woo-esque, but it's not bafflingly insane and or dumber than, me. You just sound like someone I could actually get through to. So, yeah, let's have a nice little chat about doing a food or whatever.
Today, I am going to tell you about the first time I heard a flower speaking to me.
You hear flowers speaking to you. But you look so normal. Why? Why do I always end up with these people? It's almost as if I go looking for them or something.
So, I was visiting my dear friend in Kauai.
What kind of flower was that? In fact, which flowers make the best conversationalists? I imagine it's Venus flytraps, because you know, they actually have mouths. Kinda.
And she handcrafts flower essences, which are healing remedies that I'm going to be discussing in this video.
Oh right, she's a person. That or an absolute monster who crushes up her own kind in order to sell their destroyed bodies for profit. Kind of horrific when you put it that way.
I call her a flower whisperer the same way that some people are animal whisperers.
Except for the fact that flowers don't have ears or mouths or anything even resembling the ways that humans and animals communicate vocally. I mean, if you wanted them to even know you were talking to them, you'd have to shout pretty loud. Hello, Mr. Flower. How are you today? What? Are you talking to me? See, can't even hear my loud ass.
So when I was visiting, she took me into this lush, untouched Kauai jungle where she gathers the plants and also the pure water for her remedies.
I mean, the first thing I do when someone tells me they can talk to shrubs is to go into some isolated area where no one's going to be able to find me alone with them to look for water.
And she said to me, so just let your body listen, Lauren, and see if there's a flower calling to you, and we can make that flower into an essence for you.
So, right, you find a talking flower, and instead of, I don't know, preserving that flower, maybe digging it up and taking it to the nearest biology lab and figuring out what we can learn from this clearly amazing creature, you murder it and mush its body into paste so you can spread it all over your skin or something. It's pretty sick, mate. And not me sick. The bad kind. Well, the other kind.
So I am very open to the idea that our body communicates with our environment in vast and subtle ways.
I mean, we have a lot of senses and lots of things can detect us with theirs, but I wouldn't call it communicating, mostly because that would make me sound like a colossal tool.
But I doubted if I was also a flower whisperer.
Good news! You're not! No one is, because that's an incredibly stupid term. Let me put it this way, unless of course the only thing flowers communicate is things like "sound good" and "what a place," where frankly this experiment isn't going to work. But let's say they could communicate a range of things. Well then, we just have to have multiple people talk to various flowers and ask them a set of straightforward questions. Surely they are going to get the same or at least very similar answers to each question from each individual flower, right? Well, unless flowers are lying little bastards. Tell me the truth! You can hear me, right? About 8 o'clock, mate.
However, as we were walking, I saw one purple flower along the path, and I swear it raised its hand and said to me, "Pick me!"
Okay, quick question. Before you went on this little adventure, did you, perchance, spend some time with various other plants and say, burn these other plants? maybe in some kind of pipe or glass apparatus, just asking for a friend and can you get him some? You know, for science.
And I heard this in my body. It was like receiving a message without words.
Ah, I too can communicate in dance.
And that is how I learned that flowers talk.
And that's how I learned. You crazy.
If this sounds really far out to you, that's because we live in Western culture rather than indigenous cultures.
Oh, of course. Those stupid Westerners, or what you really mean, any country that uses technology less than about 200 years old and uses science-based understanding to find things out about the universe. Those people know nothing when compared to some untouched society that uses rocks and sticks to hunt woolly mammoths somehow. I mean, to be fair, they are clearly time travelers, so who the hell knows?
Across the globe, it is understood by shamans and medicine women that plants communicate to us their healing properties.
And it's also understood by these charlatans, healers, that ditzy white girls will pay them ludicrous amounts of money to have them smear crushed petals and monkey excrement onto their foreheads to detox them from, I don't know, gamma radiation. Is that something you people care about? Christ knows.
Our modern science confirms that the plant medicine used by these ancient cultures is very effective.
No, not really. Modern medicine confirmed which medicines were effective and used them. That's like doing 1,000 random things to a bunch of people with the same disease and then claiming that you knew exactly what you were doing when one of them just so happened to get better, forgetting that at the same time, this random crap also seemed to kill a bunch of people.
So our ancestors intuitively knew which specific combinations of herbs would address specific health problems.
No, they didn't. What absolute gibbering tosh. Even when things were effective, it was based on them figuring out which things worked, usually over hundreds or thousands of years. And most certainly, unlike today, they would never have any idea why it worked.
And there is no way they would have figured this out by trial and error. There are just way too many combinations of plants to do that.
Completely wrong. Maybe if they were doing this all in a bubble and only had a single lifetime, but groups and even cultures would regularly mix in one way or another and take different ideas from each other. What a tiny little worldview you have that collaboration or even idea theft could never have happened. Your understanding is just zero.
So there was intuitive knowing happening. There was communication with the plants happening.
Nope. That's dumb, and so are you if you believe that. I mean, if these plants are telling people that they work, and presumably how, then why are so many ancient remedies something along the lines of mash the plant, stick it in goat anus, throw the goat into the sea and leave it there for 4 days, fish the carcass out of the water and cut it open on a bright morning while chanting a prayer to the clouds? It's because they would always try loads of wacky crap and had no idea which bit worked, if it in fact did. So they assumed it was all of it. But we now know that it turned out that the bacteria in the goat would break down certain enzymes in the plant or something like that, given a few days. They didn't know that and didn't really have the chance to experiment to see exactly which parts made it work. So when they found something that did heal people consistently, they stuck with it to the letter, even though 80 to 90% of the ritual did literally nothing. Doesn't exactly sound intuitive, does it?
The healing properties of plants come from compounds in the plant and also its subtle energy.
You were so close, and then you immediately balls it up. If it's the energy, why do the same compound sourced from something completely different do the same thing? You are so infuriating.
Subtle energy is the energy we can't measure yet with scientific devices.
Oh, of course we can't. And you know what the most prudent thing to do when we find something that for some reason we can see, but no one else can? I'll give you a hint. It's not presume you have special powers and that everyone else is just stupid and you are the reincarnation of Super Christ.
But we can sense this energy through our body, which is so much more sensitive than any machine we're ever going to create.
Do me a favour. Look at the tip of your finger. Now, without Googling it or using any other technology, can you tell me the width of just one of your skin cells? What's that? You can't because you don't have microscopes for eyes and highly precise measuring tools? Right then, shut up! You know, if I didn't see this kind of dippery on a regular basis, I would think she was trolling me, but unfortunately, this is still on the tamer end of the dumbs. But I think it's the insufferable smug leaking out of your empty head that really gets on my nerves.
So flower essences deliver the energy of plants to our body. It's a form of energy medicine that helps balance our emotional well-being.
And would you look at that? 3 pages deep into a script and this lady finally gets to the point of her video. Shame she completely shot herself in the foot already by claiming she can talk to picking plants like some kind of floral psychic.
Flower essences are a really powerful tool for shifting your mindset, moving through trapped emotions, stored trauma, and shifting your emotional state.
Translation: smelly plant juice magic. Me I'm powerful brain that can speak at plant.
Flower essences are made by imprinting the energetic patterns of flowers in water.
Oh my god, don't tell me it's homeopathy, because seriously, at least smashed up flowers have, you know, actual stuff in them and not just distilled water and not a goddamn thing else.
And this is done by steeping the flowers in sunlight and natural water.
Whew, okay, panic over people. She's actually less ridiculous than a homeopath. You can put down the pitchforks and torches. We're not burning any witches today. Shame.
There are 2 lines of flower essences that I use and recommend. So the first one is Bach, and you've probably seen these flower essences at your health food store.
Wait, is this a sales pitch? You slimy little so-and-so. You're just another goddamn snake oil salesman, aren't you? How much is this thing anyway? 230 flipping quid! I mean, seriously, if you're going to waste a bunch of cash, there's got to be loads of things that are more worth your delicious money to spend on. Hint, hint. Do you want pretty okay clothes at fairly alright prices? Then head on over to Sir Six Merch Store. There you can buy sick brand merch, and not a lot else. Who needs food, water, or accommodation when you can have a hoodie with my face on it? No one, that's who. I can't even afford them because I have a home, like a moron. So get on over today before these printed to order clothes run out somehow. And you're gonna need a lot of them when you're sleeping outside on the ground with your family like that. It's cold out there. I do envy you.